Well, it's happened. We are going into a new era, and I just shot a video about full disclosure. UAPs, full disclosure, it's not happening on this level where the government lies, where people tell you you're crazy. When one of my poor, oh my gosh, well, I shouldn't say poor, actually privileged subscribers said that they, back in 2007, had been abducted and were put in the rubber room for talking about it. Well, remember, they used to burn witches at the stake. Actually, they still do some of that stuff. But we're going to talk about the new era because something was said by one of these, and I don't even like the name whistleblower, one of these full disclosure revealers, Jack Barber, who I'm absolutely excited about because he's talking on a different level than anybody else. It's on a spiritual level. I want to talk about that today because I'm going to share with you what has to happen. We're in it. We're past the tipping point. I'm going to discuss my downloads and how this all fits in, and it's going to make so much sense to you. And no longer are you going to care about what Congress says and a bunch of people sitting around a room that are poo-pooing each other and, of course, leaking out misinformation that is ridiculous. We're going straight to the source. I'm going to tell you what the source is. If you've been watching my videos, you already know this. Let's go. Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through fears and live an amazing life. I am in the Panama Canal right now. I can't really show you because we have... Yeah, I'm in the library. You can probably see a freighter out there, but they have to keep the shade down because it's a little hot. But I wanted to come in here where I could get some peace and quiet. I'm going to have to hang on to this camera because I don't have my tripod with me, but this was so important. I wanted to get it to you. As usual, please subscribe to my channel because it's so important to get this word out. And I want to share with you right now that there's something so beautiful going on at the same time of the global crisis. Crisis is actually just change and messages. Crises is the message that something's not right, that needs to change, and it's an opportunity. We don't see it as that way, do we? When we have crises, we say things are wrong, but they're not. When we look at what caused the crisis, it is an opportunity for evaluation and correction, for learning, and that's what this whole planet's about. Another thing I want to mention, as always, you know I have a company called digitalexplorers.net. We are changing how people do business and earn money, and if you're interested in that, I have a free webinar. I'm teaching people from scratch who have no background, no PhDs, not even a degree or business experience is needed. Everyone is welcome to create a planet-conscious business, really learning how to create an online business and actually earn money. That's the other thing. We have all these programs in our head that say spiritual people can't be wealthy. Why? Because those in power want spiritual people to be, let's just say, disadvantaged, disempowered in the material world, and that's changing. I'm part of that change. Do you want to be part? I'm going to talk today about the level you need to talk on in order to receive full disclosure. Isn't happening in a government. It's happening on the level that is penthouse level. Now, my father has many mansions. What does that mean? My father, the creator of all things, creates different scenarios, different adventures, different existences. They could be planets and galaxies. They could be things so beyond our comprehension as humans, things that are beyond our visual perception. And so these are all programs. We call them programs, games, the matrix, that is our creation and participation. We've all created it together because we are one. Now this is really out there because you might still be thinking of yourself as something separate when you are absolutely not. So you have to be the participant and to agree to anything you're participating in. Nothing just throws you in. So you are a light being, pure energy that has agreed to be a human being to experience planet Earth, one of the most difficult challenges in the universes, multiverses, which are unending. There are no limits to universe. I think there are a couple universes. No. There are no limits, but human beings can't comprehend that. We want to define and confine things. I'm telling you right now, there are no limits to anything. If you think about it, it is possible, and what you focus on, you are creating. So that's that law of attraction thing we separate ourselves from. You don't attract anything. You're the creator, the creator, the creator. Now we're consciously creating. We are the unconscious creation as humans of consciousness. Consciousness is all things. What is it? It's the intelligence that creates everything from the darkness to the light. You and I are a form of unconsciousness. We wanted to know what's it like to be the opposite of what we are. Separate. Why do we criticize? Isn't it awful we criticize each other? Isn't that horrible? It is horrible to me. It feels bad. And I know it's part of the choices we make to know what that is. But I think, why would we ever pick on somebody? You look at children and bullying and all these things that go on. You think, why are we not taught to respect one another and to protect those who are weaker? We are going into that era, and only you get to choose if you participate in it. And when you do, you go up in my Father's mansion. The mansion is a creation and experience, and within each mansion, each program, whether it's Mars or here or a light being, has different levels within that adventure, that creation. So right now, we've been in the basement, the darkness. We turn on each other. We're friends until the ego doesn't get what it wants, so it turns on other egos. So I said, don't trust anybody. If you're on a lower frequency, criticizing, taking sides, you will receive that. So as soon as you're not doing what the other low-level egos want, you will be the first to go. And so they fight, they argue, they create conflict. Now, when you go to the higher levels, you see the beauty in others, you see the unity and the oneness. So think of a pyramid. On the bottom, let's say we have 1 million individuals on the bottom, little points. And the further up you go, the more compressed they become. When you go to the top of the pyramid, there's just one. All of those 1 million dots are now one thing, and that's how it works. So the higher frequency you go into, the more you become one. The less you become the individual and the thing that protects itself as a human, and the more you go into the expansive consciousness that connects to all things and knows that the others are critical to your well-being and consciousness and awakening. Now, let's talk about Jack Barber. I've been talking a lot about him because he's the real deal, and I think that he has taken everything to the next level of full disclosure. What is that? That full disclosure is happening in the penthouse, not the bottom level with the governments. We don't care. We don't need people and individuals to tell us what's going on. We're going into the consciousness to find out what that is. Now, here's what's so important for you to know. On that level, that tip of the pyramid, the penthouse in my Father's mansion that is planet Earth, we're playing this game out, we're going into a level of total consciousness, and from that space, you can connect to all consciousness. So the gateway's open. Minds, communicating with one another, going on these different levels of absolute full consciousness, well-being, peace, and oneness. So when you go to that space, then you are now in the penthouse of the oneness. And what's there? Everything else. It's beyond planet Earth. Then you go into the consciousness of other beings and absolute love. There is no ego that separates, blames, judges. And so we go into a space of the oneness, and the communication happens there. We don't even have to speak. That's the level he's operating on. He's communicating with other beings on that level. And so that's full disclosure. Full disclosure is now I have the answers, and it's not planet Earth, physical, confined ego existence. It is through mind and expansion of the consciousness beyond your body. Now I've experienced this, and I've communicated, and I receive a lot of messages. You're still going to be a human being. You can have emotions. You're going to do things. You're going to find yourself maybe going to sadness or anger or things, but you process it differently. So what you want to do is observe. And go ahead and be the human being. So a lot of people, they go into awakening and they don't want to be a human being anymore. I should be this thing up there, but you're not. You're still the human being going into consciousness. So go ahead and experience that. But guess what? We don't need to prove to anybody what this other form of consciousness is. So Jack Barber, when he was asked, and he's retrieved craft, he is in a conscious state, he's with others who were in the military who know about this beautiful power. Jack Barber said, when asked, what do you say to people who don't believe? He said, I'm over it. I don't need to prove anything anymore. This is what we're doing. Join us or not, it doesn't matter. It's a choice not to be judged. But what he's saying is, in other words, we're past this, is it real or not? And I'm telling you, it's real. And this exists, and we all get to participate in it. Are you going to go into the consciousness? This is the full disclosure. And so these craft are not only conscious, they are, that we've talked about craft that is actually operating on a different level. It's actually a live being itself, because we can't imagine what it's like to be beyond an animal or a tree or a human. Everything is consciousness on different levels, and this craft is controlled by mind and consciousness. It's one with, it's not some metal thing. It is, and all craft are different, but there's a consciousness in it. It communicates with it. So the material world communicates with you at all times. All of it, everything it does. Everything, nothing is dead or inanimate. Everything's conscious. And when you know this is how law of attraction works. You can manifest, because these things are actually part of the energy field. Now we talk about Christ. How did Christ do these things? He was one with the energy field. He knew that he and the water were one. He and the manna, were one. And so he could create anything, but because he was the very thing that he was manipulating, not in a negative way. So it wasn't that he's asking something separate to do something. He is the very thing that he is manifesting. The water parts, he walks on water, because it is absolutely only the form of what you believe it is. So those of you who believe something, it's true for you. So when you call somebody wrong, that's ridiculous, because all things are possible. So belief is real for everybody. Truth is true for everybody. If you believe something, it's yours, and you create it. Is that the world you want to live in? So my question to you right now is, do you want to go to the penthouse? Full disclosure is there. All answers lie there. You can communicate with anything. And if you don't want to, communicate with angels, communicate with light beings, whatever you want, what you're comfortable with. There's a lot of fear that comes with being human. We still are programmed to think that these are scary things, and they're not. There's different levels of them, but if you're on a high frequency of love, you will communicate with that. Nothing can harm you. Nothing. Nothing has power over you. Nothing. And so you can stop anything. But you have to know that you are that powerful, and that you are pure light and energy in the creation, and that everything else is just the game to play out their role. Or there's consciousness that doesn't even know that it is that beautiful high-level being. So people outside of their bodies sometimes get trapped in lower frequencies. So that's what happens. They still don't believe. Your beliefs are powerful. Are you ready to go into the disclosure of the penthouse? Let's start communicating on that level. Go into meditation, deep meditation. Clean up your diet. I've had to do some big changes lately and say, okay, if I want to take the next level, I physically have to go into a completely different level. And it's beautiful. It's wonderful. and it's easy. And so I want to continue to do this. Okay, what else can I do? And I've moved to a smaller space that is so amazing. I love where I am. I just absolutely connect with that energy. So listen to your consciousness. What is your intuition saying? Connect to that energy. When you feel negative energies, don't say, oh, this is wrong. It's not. Just tune into it and say, what is this? What is this? It could be somebody else's energy, or worry, or sadness. What do? Instead of being fearful and saying, no, I don't like this, send it light. Light is powerful. Send it light. Because now you are stepping up to this higher level of power, of all power, that light. You cannot bring darkness into a room, but you can bring light into a room. Send light, and you will see it dissolve. You will see it lessen. You will see the person that you couldn't stand change. And if they don't, that's okay. You're not here to make somebody else do something or be something or think differently. What is distress? You get distressed when you think somebody or a situation should be different, and that's ego. I'm frustrated. I have anxiety. A friend just said, she says, I was frustrated about a certain situation. I said, there was no problem. You had a story in your head that there was, and you created a problem. So what is that? I want things to be different. I want you to act a certain way. I want this, and that's ego wanting something, and it creates distress in you in low frequency. Let it go. Let it go. It is this way. What can I learn? How can I improve it, change it in a way that is positive for me, that affects that, not tries to change it because I think it's wrong. Total acceptance, because the Creator doesn't make a mistake, my friend. Creator doesn't make a mistake. Are you ready to go there? This is amazing. We're going to talk more and more about, we're going to start working on that level now. Penthouse. You guys have seen my book. I think it's over here. It's Breakthrough Fear, Your Spiritual Butt Kick, appropriately named. And I talk about the tipping point when I wrote it at all crazy hours. That was a download. I was told it had to come out now. And now I know why. I'm like, okay, what's going to happen? Right? In 2024, what's going to happen? I see. It was the beginning of the transition of the great spiritual golden era that is happening now. We don't have to prove to anybody that there's other beings, that there are intelligent beings in this room right now with me. The unseen is beautiful. It's perfect. That there are angels, that there are light beings protecting us. And so just know it, embrace it, but play your role as a human, because that's what you came here for. We signed up for it. It's okay. It's a very short period of time, so hang in there with me. You are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. I am so happy you're here with me. You are so beautiful. Please share my videos. You know, I don't get as many, let's just say, I don't get as many views on these types of videos. People want to hear all the crazy stuff. Well, this is crazy enough, isn't it? You may see some sensational thumbnails or titles that I put there, just trying to pull people in to say, this is what we're talking about, but it may surprise you of how I view it, all right? It's not clickbait. It's just letting you know, yes, shocking, sensational. The shocking part is, it's so simple, and you can participate in this new, beautiful earth. It is separating, but those who don't participate won't know that. You will. You'll sense the change. Something huge is happening. I sense it, and there is a great sadness. Jack Barber talks about this. With it comes a great sadness, because there are those who will continue to suffer. Suffering doesn't feel good. You're eternal. Everyone's eternal. Don't worry. Everybody continues on. But the sadness is feeling that. It's a sadness. And so with your light, you can change that. You can shine light on somebody, and they will make their own decision. Accept that too. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Signing off from the library of the Princess Emerald ship here in Panama. I'm going to take you to Costa Rica tomorrow. I'll see you there. Namaste.